Yeah. Finally talk.
I love it. Why? Whatever on the first and on the second. On the third, I got about a metre off the ground and in the air.
I mean, something on the old bus, I was trying to say. Well, that means not that I have to roll. I got the skateboard and I got the animal and jumped on it just to have fun practice. But as soon as I jumped on it, I was gone. What am I doing?
That was long. I smoked a weed once. Off my
it was like, yo, there's a
Went out for the scout, and his buddy was bringing him back. Well, I got college, he just had this little Swiss Army knife. You never know Swiss Army knife.
Well, awesome. Here we are. I'd like to thank Eric for joining me and agreeing to do this.
No worries. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor.
Not a problem. It's an honor for me. You got a bigger channel than I have, so.
Oh, please.
Oh no, we just do what we can do, don't we? It's the whole thing about. Definitely got a lot more characters in the side chat here. We've got Krank'N, yourself. We've got Humboldt, and he's in there. And then there's a new fellow, Wind Therapy.
Drew on Hell's on Two Wheels is here.
Yeah.
Greg from Riding Humboldt.
That's
Flip.
it. Dewey, there's another
Roger.
one, new one.
Eddie from Windy Therapy. Dewey.
Then we got Harley Throttle Juice. He's a good vlogger from over here. Everyone should know them. They're my regulars. Anyway, welcome everyone. This is if you haven't seen it before, I asked our guest 13 odd questions, and it's very interesting with the answers that they come up with. So,
well, I don't intend to irritate anybody, but I'm very vocal on my thoughts and the way I see life. So I hope I have no filter. So I apologize up front.
I don't either. That's why I'll never get monetized. So everyone knows me by now. I just say it how it is, and a lot of people don't like that. But that's their problem. No worries. We'll find these questions. We'll get straight into it. I got a coffee this morning. I had a few beers last night and get under the weather. And then we drank beers, and then we got into the jacks. So, gentleman jack, that is. No worries. First question here is it's this basic one. It's like, what inspired you to do your YouTube channel? And plus, when did you learn to moto?
That's a two-part question. I first started riding when I was about 7 years old. My friend had a mini bike with a Briggs & Stratton motor on it, no brakes, and getting to ride that was just unbelievable, and it made an impression on me that has lasted a lifetime.
Yeah.
As for when I started my channel, it was around the time COVID hit, like many of us. And I'm like, well, damn, I'm stuck in my home. You're all but forbidden from traveling anywhere.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find something creative to do with my time. And I had bought a mini moto, a Benelli TNT 135, and I shot some tutorials that teach young people how to do some basic maintenance on their very first bike. And those were really popular. I mean, 20, 30 grand views on those videos. So
Yeah.
mission successful there. But my channel is basically 50% Harley Davidson and 50% pretty much everything else. I'm not a bike bigot. I love them all.
Yeah, I'm the same. I like them all. And I'd like to say, good friend of mine is all about Aussie vloggers over here is Bikes, Burgers, Beers, old Steph. I listened to your interview with him on the podcast channel of his, and it was really good. It's sort of when he bailed you up to do that, it was sort of when I was thinking of trying to get you as well. And then I heard the interview, so I was like, yeah, no, I got to get you on here because it's we just got so much in common, and the
My
bike
my
riding.
channel is set up to help people, and if anybody I can help further their YouTube channel, whether it's a live stream or just had somebody reach out to me tonight to help them make a thumbnail for their video. Whatever I can do to help you guys out and gals, hit me up. I do my
Yeah,
best to accommodate everybody as best I can.
yeah, and obviously the second half of that question went sort of obviously when did you start the moto? Obviously being a young kid or a teenager.
7, 8 years old. I didn't ride my
Yeah,
first clutch moto till I was like 10,
yeah.
and the rest is downhill from there.
Yeah, I started when I was 6 as well, and I'm blessed that my old man and my brothers got me into doing it because I just loved it straight away. It's just, yeah, I'd rather do that than anything, actually.
It blows me away. This is the fourth or fifth stream people have asked me to be on, and I don't understand why somebody would have any interest in my life and what I've done. I mean, it's pretty non-inspirational, so it blows me
Yeah,
away. I don't get it.
yeah. I love how you throw the shout outs and all that in your videos, and we just riding around doing what we love and chatting to people. So that's virtually what mine's all about. And I started my channel with just made a vlog videos so I can watch later. And Adam Sandoval, he sort of kicked me off, and I was in between riding groups and that. So I just thought, I'd give it a crack, and it's still happening. And I'm enjoying the lives, and a lot of people are enjoying them with me. So that's
You
the
do a
main.
great job on your live streams. I mean, you have had some iconic people on your live streams.
Yeah.
I hope you get some more and continue to spread the good news of motovloggers and their story.
Yeah, thanks very much, and that's all I'm trying to do. And obviously, the questions that I ask, it just gets to know the people, and then not just certain things. It all gets into the nitty gritty, and we'll find that out in a minute. Anyway, the second one, what other hobbies do you have not bike related?
Take care, Eddie. I see he has jury duty, so he's got a split.
Yeah.
So thanks for popping in, mate.
Yeah, the jury
I'm
duty
sorry.
sucks.
What was your question?
It was what other hobbies do you have not bike related?
Not bike related. I do a lot of hunting, fishing. I do a lot of long distance shooting, and I do a lot of reloading.
Not a reloading yet. It's a cheaper way of doing it. It's like,
Mrs. Kraskin's still pissed off. I seized an entire bedroom, and that's my reloading room in our home. There's only 15 kegs of gunpowder in there. Other than that, she's happy about it.
Waiting for the Holocaust.
Well, maybe sooner rather than later, the way the world's crumbling, man.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. We won't get into that. That'll open up a can of worms, that would. No worries. And the next one is a drone question. What's your worst drone experience you've encountered? or if you haven't had a drone, your favorite band you may have seen live.
I have a drone. I haven't used it very much because I'm scared of it and not to fly it. Here in the States, you got to have specific licenses and you
Yeah,
can get lit up with a 6-digit fine in a
yeah,
hurry. And my pockets aren't deep enough to sweat that kind of a fine. So the few times I do it, I'm on a country road in BFE and I'll just pop it up, grab a quick shot, tuck it, and get the hell out of there. I don't know. I'm just very nervous about it.
yeah,
In my line of profession, if I take a hit like that from the FAA, I will lose my clearance to do what I do.
yeah.
Does that make
No,
sense?
it does. They're pretty strict ones over here as well. And to get away with sort of the licenses, I think the minis are the only ones because they're under a certain weight. You can get away with flying them, which is why I got one of
I have
them.
a I have a Skydio too, and I don't want to fly drones like half of these guys on here, Roger and all these. Greg,
Yeah,
they do wonderful scenic views. You can have all that. I just want to press one button and say "Follow me," and I do a quick
yeah,
zip
exactly.
on the road, and I squeeze that into one of my shit-tastic videos. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Those Skydio twos, I was looking into them too, but they can't ship them or they're not allowed in Australia. So that's why there's not many of them over here. But
Roger, you don't need a clearance for the smaller drones. Dewey would probably be able to answer that in the chat better than I am. But I will say where I live in the DC metropolitan area, and the lake that I live on has a nuclear plant, and it's patrolled by the military. So there's a lot of do not fly areas in my area, and unfortunately, the Skydio 2 does not let you know when it's a do not fly area like some of the drones. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
it does. It's I've seen it when it first. That's the blue and black one. Well, the one I've seen the Skydio too. And,
Correct.
they had
Correct.
one fella running through the forest, and it was just following him. It was amazing how it avoided all the trees, and it was just tracking him.
The avoidance capability of it is unfreaking believable. It is
Yeah,
unbelievable because I specifically took a ride through a forest and it
yeah,
tracked me all the way through it. It was
yeah.
unbelievable.
No, they're amazing. And if could have got them in Australia, I would have definitely would have got one of them because hopefully I wouldn't have crashed the bastard. But my one is I pushed the one finger launch and it never come back. So I've been a bit reluctant to get my new one up, and mainly we've had shit weather. It's been raining here for 2.5 years, so whenever it's sunny, we go out.
Well, just even flying in the neighborhood, all it takes is one bad neighbor to get a rub with you and say, "This guy's spying on me in my nightgown," and next thing you know, you got the cops up your rear end and it's on, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah,
And people are so weird these days.
yeah. It's especially in town, or what you're saying, if they see it up there, oh, you're spying, and that's it, and then you're done for. Really, it's
So I have very minimal drone. I don't have any tales of woe like Roger dumping his in the water the other day or having to hire somebody to pick it out of a tree or something. I don't
yeah,
have any tales like that because
yeah.
I'm zip zop and I'm gone.
That's the way I'll probably end up be getting it myself. Just put it up, pan around, and if I can land it, as long as I can get it up and down, that's about it. But and second part of the question, favorite band you've seen live? What's a good old band or you've seen live?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Hey, what's a favorite band that you've seen live?
Oh, favorite. Oh my gosh, I've seen
Music,
hundreds.
yeah,
The first concert, it's not my favorite, but the first concert I ever saw
yeah,
was at the Greek Theater in Southern California, and I went to see Eddie Money, and Pat Benatar was a no-name, and she blew him off the stage as an opening act.
yeah. Really, she's awesome. Yeah, we
She
like her.
was awesome, and she's a Virginia girl, so there you go.
Is she? Yeah, I did not know that, but yeah, no,
But hands down, I was really bummed in high school when Bon Scott choked on his own vomit and checked out.
yeah,
But I went to see Back in Black right after his death with Brian Johnson, and that show rocked. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
I've seen the Stones, the Kinks, the Who, Journey. I've seen so many bands. You know, Billy Idol's one of my all-time favorites. Always puts on a hell of a show.
Yeah. Well, you've seen some wild ones too. That like Stones be cool. And
the Stones had 7 opening bands for them.
Really?
And one of the opening bands was Prince before he was big, and he got booed off the stage. People weren't quite ready for Prince at that time going to see the Stones, let's just say.
Yeah, exactly that. I could see that happening. But the Who, I love to have seen the Who. Who's one of my favorite bands too. And the Kinks, yeah, wow, you see a lot of good names there. Exactly right.
Yeah. And that was also in my high school years, a lot of the new wave era. So you got to see the Pretenders, Oingo Boingo. There was a lot of wild bands that were coming out back then that were really fun to see. So
just sort of starting to cut their teeth and get out into the mainstream. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No worries. The next one is tell us something mischievous about yourself that your parents don't know about.
All right. I was just telling this story to my friend. I just got back from a trip to California. My dad loved Jaguars, and in his career field, he was always a half a world away. He had a beautiful XKE in his driveway, if you're familiar with that model.
Yeah.
And it was the 6-cylinder type. Anyway, Dad was overseas, and my stepmom was out doing her thing. And my surfer buddies and I climbed into this 2-seater Jag, and on the dashboard, you had 2 knobs you could twist, and the whole gauge panel would flop down, and you could disconnect the speedo. And I got a grease pencil marked where the gas was, and we hopped in that Jag, and we cruised all through Hollywood. And when I got back home, I topped off the gas to get it to match the grease pencil mark, wiped it off, reconnected the speedo. Nobody ever knew. Thank my lucky stars. If I wrecked that car, I'd still be in hot water with Pop, man, in a big way. So, yes, my parents never knew about that. That's a true story.
Nah, that's a good one. That's why I love that question. And that's what it's there for. It's not
well, I tell people...
Not for everyone.
My channel is so filtered with no cussing and whatever, because I try to make it kid friendly in case your son's watching or something like that. Yeah. But I tell people I'm no angel. I never was an angel. I'm telling you that right up front.
Yeah, exactly right. That's a good. That's what that question's for. It's for people to like think of a story like that they got away with when they're a kid and all that.
I've been in trouble my whole life, so there's no. Yeah. I could give you 30 stories where I'm cops are banging on the door.
So. Give us one more then. While we're at it, because we're going through these pretty quick. So
no worries. I did a video on the one where I rode my motorcycle through the hallways in high school and got caught. And the bike got impounded, and I went to jail. So that was an epic moment in my life. Turned into a big chase scene. That would be a good second one. That's probably my most epic one. I was out of control in high school. So
yeah, starting to incriminate yourself now. So we'll change the question.
No worries. I mean. That was a lifetime ago. These days, you do any. I'm so glad we're older, Smitty. These days, you can't get away with anything without the SWAT team being called on you.
Nah, exactly right. And just so many cameras and that out there now. Like back in our days, there was nothing. Yeah, there was phone booths. That was it.
Correct.
Yeah. Next one is what's your most favorite sport? And you may have played or watched on telly.
Yeah. I played basketball. I'm 6'4", so I was a natural at it.
Yeah.
Being white, I wasn't as good as the brothers. Let's just put it that way. So it was not in my view. Straight up. The brothers could run circles around me. I mean that in no disrespectful manner by any way, shape, or means. But
they're just big athletes. They are. They're just.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. But I love basketball. As far as professional sports, I've always loved football. I followed the Chicago Bears for 30 plus years. Watched them lose since 1986, I think, is the last time they won. And I quit watching them as soon as the NFL and they kneeled on the national anthem. And I'm like, that over 1 million Americans have died defending that national anthem, and I'm done. So I'd no longer watch professional sports.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bum when it does all that. But I was the same all through high school. I was in the basketball, but I'm only 6 foot, so I was a guard. But I was pretty tall back in school, so I ended up having to be a rebounder. I enjoyed it. It got me out during the week to play with my mates in the pavilion at the basketball, and even represented the town. But like, I was not that good at it, but I was all right.
Bolt's asking which basketball team I followed. That was the Chicago Bulls. There's a theme here. Bears and Bulls are both in Chicago. No, I'm not from Chicago, but a lot of my automobile schooling or collegiate level was all done in that neck of the woods. And that's how I got affiliated with the Bears and the Bulls. And I had a great run watching Air Jordan all his career. What an amazing player. The best. Yeah. He's the greatest of all time.
And into the Cubs in baseball?
No, that would be the White Sox. I like the bad boys.
Yeah.
If you ask me about anything in life, everybody always picks the guy in the white hat and the champion of life. Without a good villain, you don't have a good story. So I always go for the villain.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same as me. It's an Australian thing over here. Like you go for the underdog. Like you'll have the favorite and whatnot, and you'll see a bloke that's struggling and does well, and it's just the old habit going for the underdog and watching them triumph and knock the tall poppy down. But yeah, it's just it's a way that we are, I think.
Absolutely. I think everybody loves an underdog, but even the bad boy teams, they certainly bring a lot of color to the table in professional sports. So I like a good spicy game where everybody's fired up and hot about it and passionate about it, Yeah,
that's like because you're saying all the Chicago things. I just mentioned the Cubs because I like James Belushi. He's one of my favorite comedians and whatnot and actors, and he was always a Cub fan. You can see it all in his movies. So.
I love James Belushi. I got to tell you, again, in Southern California, that's when SNL, Saturday Night Live came out, and James Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Gilda Radner, Steve Martin, all of these iconic people, and Garrett Morris, they were unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So I totally get what you're saying. I'm a huge fan of James Belushi and his work that he did. Even his brother has been a good actor. So, yeah.
They're all having a sledge in the side chat about our footy.
What, are they all punching over sports?
Yeah, all sledging about the football.
First time I ever heard the word bitch on national television was on Saturday Night Live, and Gilda Radner was playing a hooker, and she was suing her pimp, Velvet Jones. That was played by, well, it doesn't matter. I don't remember. And Robert Conrad was the guest host on the show, and the pimp said to the judge, I can sum it up in 3 words, Your Honor, why she isn't making any money. The bitch ugly. I almost fell over. I was like, oh my gosh, just awesome time for Saturday Night Live. It's nowhere near what it was in the past.
That's like over here. We used to have Hey Hey at Saturday, and that was a live show on Saturday night. It used to go for an hour and a half. It used to be in the morning, but they had all skits on there like Red Faces and Pluck a Duck, and it was quite funny. It was a thing back in the time. Going out, you'd have Hey Hey Saturday on, and when that was sort of finishing, you'd get dressed and you go out to the pubs and kick on from there and have a good night out. But it's sort of a bit like the show you were saying, Saturday Night Live.
Right. And that was again, I'm speaking of days of yore. That was an era and years of my life, Smitty, that
Yeah.
people didn't get offended with just plain old humor. And now everybody's hoisting a card and a flag if you do anything or say anything. It's sad.
No, exactly right. And with red faces, I don't know if you've seen that at all, but
I'm not familiar with it. No.
yeah, he's well, the judge on there was Red Simon. He was the guitarist for Skyhook's band, and he was always like you say, a villain. You'd get a sweet kid out there, and he'd be playing the guitar or something, and everyone goes, "Oh yeah, we'll give you 6, we'll give you 5." And there's a mark out of 10. He'd go 1 or 0 or get off. Just write it down on the board and flip
Nice.
it up. So he got the villain sort of side of things like that, where he's sort of blunt and just he's just stirring the crowd up.
Love it.
Yeah. If you use red faces, yeah, Pluck a Duck, exactly right. Pluck a Duck was awesome. I think, like your mascot, Pluck a Duck was a mascot as a duck, and it was a bit deviant. There'd be a nice, attractive woman come up, and he'd be up there jumping on her and putting her arm around her, and sort of, that type of thing. Whereas these days, like you're saying, they get fucking lumbered for it. Yeah. No worries.
If any of you folks have any questions as well, I mean, fire away. I'm pretty transparent, so
we once we get to the end, if we've gone through pretty quick, we open up to the side chat and they'll
okay. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. We did that with Ben, and we went for fucking 3 hours, but hopefully we won't do that because I've got to do the yard work today. We finally got a sunny weekend, and I've got to get into it.
You know, we've made it this far in the stream, and you haven't dropped an F-bomb yet. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah. Probably not. I got another coffee here. I got prepared myself. Yeah, we had a few last night. We had about 5 or 6 beers, and then we got on to the fucking Gentleman Jack, and then say no more. I don't remember getting home, but got home. I think it was midnight, something like that.
I get it.
Yeah.
Greg, I have 5 bikes or 4 bikes in my garage. Sorry, soon to be 3.
You selling a couple?
I've just about finished my Cafe Roadster build. I'm going to sell that, and that's going to foot my bill for my trip to Australia next year.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
We'll have to hook up and see that one. I'll come down and go for a ride with you. For sure. Just in the side chat here. Any questions? Now, the next one's a ripper. I like this one. Next one's okay. What celebrity does it for you? One you wouldn't kick out of bed. Everyone knows mine.
I'm weird. I like Jennifer Tilly. And does anybody know who she is?
I don't, I'm afraid.
All right. Jennifer Tilly has a squeaky voice, a kind of hourglass figure. She's a brunette Canadian. She is drop dead gorgeous. And she has a weird sense of humor. She does the voice for the horror movies. You know, Chucky?
Yeah.
The Bride of Chucky. She plays the female doll killing everybody. That's her squeaky voice in that one. But I think Jennifer Tilly is just a knockout, but whatever.
Do I know mine? She's got here.
Sure.
Yeah, Salma, what's her face? The Mexican chick.
Zelma, I'm not sure who that is.
She's in Dusk Till Dawn and fuck other ones.
Dusk Till Dawn? Oh, Zelma Hyatt.
That's her. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and she married Michael Douglas, the geezer, man. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now that's what I'm talking about, Smitty. Give me that well-rounded hourglass figure, man. I put some meat on those bones. Half these girls get them a sandwich.
Yeah. Exactly. Wasn't expecting that answer.
No, Greg Paul, she's a knockout. Knockout.
Yeah, that's my regular answer. That Mexican chick. I'm hopeless with names, unfortunately.
I love that movie, Dust Till Dawn. That's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, George Clooney was just coming onto the scene over here then, and
He was.
and that was the first one I seen. And you know how Quentin Tarantino directed it, and he played Richie's brother and all that in it. And it was sort of around the time when Natural Born Killers was on, so yeah, they really had all these road trip type of movies. So you're sitting there expecting this to happen and that to happen, but they were just badass in that thing. It was so good, and
it was that bar, the titty twister was out of
Yeah.
control, man, out of
I
control.
remember I was sitting
And
there.
Cheech Marin was played 3 roles in that movie.
Yeah, he did. And then at the start of it, how they were talking when they just blew up the fucking servo. And
There's the F-bomb. We have it. Everybody take a shot.
the fucking servo, and they were talking about the copper and the bloke behind the counter talking about the mutant chick and all that. And I thought, oh, he should be in the sideshow. And then way back at the titty twister when they changed it into the vampires, I'm going, oh, this is that chick they were talking about, the mutant. And then it just threw me out of whack because all these vampires was fucking flying everywhere. It just threw a whole new twist to the movie. It was really well done. And yeah.
I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, so what can I say? Yeah. I like that dark humor.
Yeah, I am too. I love his Death Proof, and I just like his movies and Django and all that. He's just got a knacker. And my other favorite director too used to be Oliver Stone. Like, I loved his style of filming. He always fucking films with about 5 or 6 cameras, and he chooses what angle he wants to put into the movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how come normally your streams, Roger just said we're 30 minutes into it and we're normally stuck on question 1. Why does it take so long?
Yeah,
because it's nighttime and everybody's drinking when you're normally streaming, not 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, just right. Getting rid of the headache, not making one. Yeah. But Humboldt's got a thing. He's got what's the cross for on the flag, Smitty? Well, that flag, it's a made up one. The cross one's back the miners back in the day it was before, like in the 1800s. It's a Union flag. It's like the miners standing up for the government because they wanted to tax all their gold and all that. And it's sort of like a bit of a rebellious flag, like Confederate one over there, I think. And then obviously the other one underneath is the original Australian flag. But really the Eureka flag, that's called Eureka flag. It's honestly, that's sort of the first Australian flag we had. And then they brought the other one along.
Yeah, we got Q in the mix, just popped in. Thank you for joining us, Q. He's a recent sub I just started watching. Super good channel. Go check him out. Riding and Wrenching.
Yeah. Riding and Wrenching, seeing there. G'day, mate. And exactly, mate. You got there, like the Confederate. Yeah, Chewy's got the date there, 1860s. Something like that was and then in the 19s when they made the Australian flag, but the Eureka flag was sort of the first one.
Q is a brother, so he's coming in at a really bad time here in the chat where you're talking about a Confederate flag.
Yeah,
Q, let me clear the air here, my friends. See that flag in the background with the cross? That he was explaining that's a miners. Well, I'll let Smitty explain it, and he was correlating that to kind of a rebel flag in America, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a flag that supports the miners.
No disrespect intended, Q, by any means.
Exactly. It's all stood up for they stood up against the government because the government wanted to tax all their gold, their findings and all that, and wanted to take a chunk of their earnings and stuff. And there's other reasons too, because they call it the Eureka flag, and they had a Eureka Stockade, which is where the gold mining was, and the miners all stood up to the government and well, they call it, protested and stood up against the government, and that's how that sort of all started. We got Monica.
Hello, Monica.
Yeah, she's popped in. She's over California way. And next one, number 7. It's what's your poison? Beer, spirits, wine, cider.
Well, I have two answers to that make this really easy. I have two bull terriers. One's name is Bourbon.
Yeah.
And the other one's name is Bullet, Bulleit.
That's your beer and that's your bourbon.
That's my favorite brand of bourbon. Favorite beer would be Legend Brown Ale, which is a Virginia brown lager, kind of like a Newcastle.
And then you'd have a lot of different types there too, wouldn't you? Like being from Virginia, like I love that movie Lawless, where they all the moonshine and the bootlegging around the hills and all that there.
People don't know this. I'll give you a quick down and dirty history on whiskey in Virginia.
Yeah.
The moonshiners were all over this state, down in Franklin County. There's a good movie out called Lawless, if you want to see.
Yeah.
It was brutal. And when George Washington became our first president, he decided he wanted to tax all the moonshiners. So he took a bunch of troops into the hills of Virginia and got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
He went back to Washington, came back with 10,000 troops, and all the moonshiners rolled out and said, that's a little much for us. And they went west to Kentucky and Tennessee, and they set up shop there. At that time, whiskey was clear.
Yeah.
And how it got its caramel color is their biggest customer was down in Louisiana. They would put them in oak barrels and float them in the river all the way down to Louisiana. By the time they got there, it got its caramel color, and that's how bourbon got started.
Yeah, right. And then, well, that's sort of like explaining with the miners with the flag. It's like the government wanted to take a chunk of it and tax it, and that's how that all started as well.
True. True.
Yeah. And I was going to ask, how's your dog going? Like when I seen the photos on Instagram, I thought he got hit by a car. Did he just twist his leg or something? Is that right?
He twisted his leg. I think he bashed it into one of the cabinets in the kitchen, and he broke it, but good. The big bone as well as the fibia as well, and he's got 6 pins in his leg and a plate now, and I'm out $7,000. So other than that, it's been great.
They don't fucking miss you, do they?
Nope.
But like the bull terriers and the staffies, like they're part of your family. They're your kids. Like, yeah, because it was that bad. Like I said, I thought he got hit by a car. Because we know they're like little human cannonballs. They'll just fucking run through the house and.
They are. Until you have one, you don't really understand that breed. But when I'm on a motorcycle trip, Mrs. Kraken, of course, she has her pistols and whatever, but I have the dogs there, and they, when you live out in the country, you can scream your lungs out and nobody's going to hear you. So it's the last line of defense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely different over here. Like we got to have our guns all locked up. We've got to have 3 locks, and ammo's got to be kept separate and locked up away. And and you got to have it locked in the car separate and chained to your car. So if you pull over, no one can break in and steal your weapons. And it's completely different to you guys over there. It's like we're blown away how you can go into a corner store and there's the guns in the corner for sale. It's just.
Yeah, Monica, that sounds like a lovely stout. I'd like to try. It sounds amazing. Roger, yes, I'd happily spend $7,000 on bourbon. He's my boy. I don't have any children, so let's put it this way: he has his own Christmas stocking hanging on the chimney every year.
Oh, don't know. Like they're a part of the family. Like our 2 get fucking presents every year. Oh, Bonnie and Clyde. Hence the name.
The whole guns thing in America, nobody wants to have any bad situation or whatever, but as Sam Colt put it, it is the ultimate equalizer. So when something goes sideways, I'll hammer it out in court as long as I'm alive to discuss the issue, Yeah,
exactly.
So, and let's be honest, all of us that do YouTube here, do you ever worry that people triangulate where you're at and will roll up on your home?
Nah, exactly. It's
say, man, I'd really love to have Eric's Icon Revival. I'd like to have that bike. Let's go rolling.
Yeah.
So, when you put yourself out there globally, that's going to happen. It's a matter of when, let's say.
Yeah.
People will triangulate, like I said, figure out where you're at. So there you
Yeah.
go. Something to think about. So I was
Right.
raised with guns, and that's just who I am, and they're in the fabric of my life.
Yeah, exactly. It's like even Chewy said he is considered that as well.
Because it's no joke, and it's all
No,
fun
it's
and
not.
games till it's just your wife standing there having to deal with it, and you're not home.
Exactly. You're away, and they know they usually pick when you're away and all that. Or someone telling me, yeah, right, that's not good.
Yeah, Q, I'm right there with you, brother. I mean, I have to vet out. I allow bikers into my home to stay here on travel. That happens. I host motorcycle rallies. I've had many as 18 bikes here in my garage. I do what I can to help the community as a whole, but you have to vet that out. And, no drugs in my home, just keep it to alcohol, whatever. You just got to, and unfortunately, there's some bad apples. And when I meet them, I have to invite them to leave. Not welcome.
Yeah.
Beat it.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the second part of that question here. What's your favorite hangover breakfast?
I'm a Southern boy, so I like gravy. So give me sausage gravy and biscuits. It's kind of bricks and mortar, and it'll stick to your ribs and take care of that alcohol.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah, exactly right, mate.
These are jacked up questions, Smitty. You're on top of your game, my friend. That's awesome.
Exactly right, mate. We usually you have like a big breakfast, sausages, bangers, or a bacon and egg roll, or you like any bike event. You go to a bike event, the next morning they're cooking bacon and eggs and the greasy bacon just to help you out for the ride home. That's what they do. It's always a good breggy.
Grits, bacon, and eggs. All right, Q, a man after my heart, right there.
That's it. Awesome. The next one is I gotta go down here. Number 8. Oh, this is a new question here. What was the best party or celebration that you've been to or have thrown?
Best party or celebration?
Yeah, like what was it? Your 18th or your 21st? What one party that you've had or thrown? It really stands out.
10 years ago, last month, for my 50th birthday, I hit half a century. I hired a band, and I had barbecue, and I had over 100 people here in my home, and we had a giant throwdown, and all the drinks were on me. And my celebration of life was to have all the people I love and care in my life around me just one time and provide them a good time on me. So that hands down was my favorite party of all time.
Yeah.
Nothing over the top, nothing to brag about, but nobody
No,
got out of control, but it was good fun. Good fun.
It's not funny, but it's amazing, like you say, your 50th. I think mine was, we've had some parties, and one that stands out for mine was my 30th. And same as you, I had 3 bands in the backyard that day, and there was only this drunken 30-year-old bouncing around the backyard breaking garden chairs because he fell over. And woke up the next day, it was raining, so baseball was called off. We didn't have to play, and happy days. So,
right.
Yeah, my 30th was one of my best ones. 18th, I can't remember that one too much. The 21st, I had sort of 2 parties, but yeah, we got age 21. Yeah, I started.
I'm so old. Here in Virginia, we had smoking lounges in high school.
Yeah, really.
For real.
Yeah.
And you had your shotgun hanging in the window of your truck when you went to school because you went deer hunting after school.
Yeah.
Times change.
That way. I didn't hear they all smoked in the toilets.
Yep.
Yeah, but we had some good parties, that's for sure. Number 9.
What was your best concert you ever went to?
My best concert? I've been to a few, but I'd have to say Soundwave. I took the whole family to it. So it's $200 a ticket, so it cost me $800. This is a big open concert in Sydney, and there was 16 odd bands that I wanted to see. That's the only reason where I took the whole family, and we went to mainly to see Blink 182, which is what's tattooed on my hand.
Right.
Yeah, and because Mrs. Smitty's brother, that was one of his favourite bands before he passed, and that's why I got the tattoo. And my boys were growing up listening to Blink 182 and other bands and whatnot. Like we were the parents where we drive along and we'd put music in, and they just had to listen to it. Like there's no quiet driving in our car. But we've seen, they had Cypress Hill, they had Sum 41, they had Offspring, Metallica, Stone Sour, Paramore came. Garbage was supposed to play, but they didn't make it. And there was 16 odd bands there that we wanted to see, and we pretty much seen most of them, but they did overlap. There was 2 stages, one up one end of the showground and the other one down the other end. So it was too big a distance between the stages.
I'll tell you about 2 other concerts that stand out in my mind. I went to see B.B. King in a small club.
Yeah.
And my man was the king of blues. No one can touch that man. If you don't know who B.B. King is, Google him or look him up on YouTube. He's an amazing artist. And that just blew me away and made a lasting impression. Second one was Stevie Ray Vaughan. Just what a short career snuffed out, but blues just resonate with me, and that man nailed it. Just nailed it.
Yeah, he's a great guitarist.
And what funniest moment, and then I'll get off this topic because I'm derailing your whole thing.
No, that's all right. That's all right. It's all good.
I went to see The Clash when I was 17. This was when the whole punk wave was coming, and they weren't really a big hit. I went down to see them at the Whiskey A Go-Go in L.A. Small club, maybe 200 people, and the whole mosh pit got started, and people started slam dancing. I was 17 years old, maybe 140 pounds soaking wet with my girlfriend, and the whole crowd started getting out of control, and they were slam dancing in the middle of singing. I don't know the lead singer's name. I apologize, but somebody took their shoe off and threw it at the lead singer, and it hit the microphone and popped him in the mouth with the microphone.
Yeah.
He yelled, "You effing wanker," and he Supermaned off that stage, beat the tar out of the dude. The band never skipped a beat, and he got up back up on stage and kept on rolling.
Yeah.
It was out of control.
Especially when the band keeps playing. It's like, okay, we'll keep going, too.
I'm just sitting there, damn.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's good. That's special. But like, especially when the band keeps going. Because I watched YouTube last night with like Five Finger Death Punch, like, big heavy metal band type of thing. And they showed a spot in there. He seen a chick fall down in the crowd. And he stopped the concert and really got up this fella and kicked him at this bloke out the concert because he didn't pull over and didn't help her up and things like that. So he stopped the concert, pointed him out, and got security to grab him and threw him out of the concert. I only seen that YouTube video last night, but that one where the band keeps playing and he does the big stage dive off and then gets back up and keeps going without a falter. That's gold.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's gold. Miss Valia, what drink you've had and swear never to have again? That one should be above the other one. I'll have to change them around.
All right. Here in America, when you first start drinking, from my generation, it was whatever 7-Eleven sold. So that pretty much limited it down to Mad Dog 2020. Or Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill wine or some nasty stuff there or whatever. Anyway, I got a bottle of that Mad Dog 2020. I was praying to the porcelain god all night. I'm done. I can't even smell the stuff. I'm out.
I'm like that with the Black Russians. I had a big bender on that, and yeah, and then it was a fortnight after that. I had my Bucks party. My mate bought me a Black Russian. I told him to jam it. He said, "You can have it," but didn't even touch it.
All right.
Yeah.
I know what a white Russian is. What's a black Russian?
Black Russian is like Coke. It's Kahlua vodka and Coke. And
I
we get
got you.
White
I got
Russians.
you.
Yeah, White Russians with the milk. Yeah.
Gotcha. I got you now. Never had one.
Yeah. I love the dude, old Jeff Bridges. That's what in that movie. That's all he drank was the White Russians.
Yep.
Okay, this is a long question, but it's a good one. This is I heard this one said you get to take 4 people of your choice, past, present, an actor, a family member, singer or a band, and your choice for the 4th one. Like you're going out to town. Yeah.
Going out on the town, and I'm taking 4 people.
Yeah, and you're going to a pub, and then you want to hook in, like have a real bender. You get to take 4 people with you, past and present.
Wow. An actor, John Wayne.
John Wayne, yeah.
Family member, my pops. He was my hero.
Yeah.
Singer of a band, Billy Idol. He would be out of control.
Hell yeah.
4th one of my choice. Wow. Elvis Presley, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He supplied all the food and all the pills. Old Elvis.
True.
Yeah. Well, then you wouldn't know what fucking Billy Idol would be into as well. He's pretty loose.
Billy Idol was out of control. How he survived that and he's still alive is amazing. So
yeah. And yeah, the Duke and old John Wayne. Yeah, that's an interesting one too. Maybe what he can get up to.
Yep.
Yeah, 86 for sure. Yeah, I've seen that one on a footy show. I don't know if that's a good question. I had to add that one.
It's a good question.
But, yeah. Next one is the tattoo one. Is got here it comes.
Which do I like, color
Yeah.
or black and white? And do I have any tattoos?
Yeah. What's your first tattoo? Tell us the story about getting it and your favorite tat, black or white, color or.
All my tattoos are black and white. I just prefer the monotone look of them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start getting tattoos till I turned 50, and I kind of realized days of being a good-looking man are over. So who the hell cares? And I have tattoos. I have a Kraken tattoo starting on my thigh, goes all the way up my rib cage. It's pulling a ship down in its tentacles, and the tentacles are coming up, and they'll be working their way down my sleeve on the left side.
Yeah.
And most of my tattoos, even the Kraken one, and the whole theme of my channel is Norwegian or Nordic folklore, or I would argue some of it is Germanic, but that's I'm Swedish by heritage. So my family, the first Johnson to paddle over here from Sweden, fought in the Civil War and survived. So, our roots go deep, with that. And so all my tattoos tell a story about Norwegian folklore. This one is Tyr. I don't know if you can see it. Sitting disrobing, but Tyr is putting his sword arm inside Gefyr's mouth, which is the wolf. Tyr is one of the Norse gods, and there's a big story behind that. But so I'm kind of weird like that, but I like my tattoos. Mrs. Kraken hates them, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, I'm planning to get mine finished on the rest of my sleeve, and I'm just saving up the pennies for that. And they said, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said to them, "Well, just give me money because I need it."
Fair enough.
Finish mine off, but that's with the the Kraken, I did not. Kraken, that means like, is it squid or the octopus? What's that?
It could be either. It's basically
Yeah.
a sea monster, most associated with a squid, a giant
Yeah.
squid
Yeah,
that terrorized the seven seas, and
yeah,
threw people a beating. So there you go.
yeah. No, it's good because obviously, like with the tentacles and all that, I knew it was sort of octopus and soft bone like related to do with the squid or the octopus, but I did not actually know if it was the octopus or the squid. But yeah, no, it's
I've
good.
seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen a Kraken called both, so I don't know. I don't know. It's all make believe. There is no giant
yeah,
Kraken, so
yeah.
read into that what you want.
Nah, it's it. But I do love the octopus. My mate Jenko had fish tanks, and he had a marine one, salt water, and had prawns, sandy bottom, and this red rock, and he had this little red octopus. Well, on the piss one day, and we're there after going out and watching this octopus run around the red rock. He come up over the top of the red rock, and he was all red and everything. Then when he got into the white sand, and he just changed color like that, it's just so amazing. Like we're tripping out, of course, because we're drunk.
Nature is phenomenal. I
It's
mean,
awesome.
just every time you think it's
Yeah.
seeing it all, nature will show you something that'll spin your head around.
Yeah, and that camouflage that they got, it's amazing how it just from red, and then when he got onto the white, he just changed to the grey, and then dug himself on the hole, and he just waited for whenever a prawn went past, he just grab it and fucking chew on it. It's awesome to watch. I do love the octopus, but they're escape artists, so I didn't actually get any because you can't keep them in your fish tanks. You got to strap the bastards down.
Well, these were tales that were told to me as a child from the elders of my family, from the Swedish side of the family. So
Yeah,
everybody has their culture, and you need to pass that on to keep these cultures alive. That goes for all of us.
that's
We
it.
all
If you
came
don't
from somewhere. All our families came from somewhere. The
Yeah.
food, the culture, the tales need to be carried on for tradition, in my opinion.
No, that's exactly right because like everything's changing, like I say, as you're growing up, and like the ways we were just talking about before, what we could get away with earlier, and what you can't now. And then if they don't know, like music, we had a fella find a cassette tape in the factory, and he goes, "What's this?" I said, "Are you fucking kidding?" He goes, "It's a music cassette," and we had an old player in the corner.
Right.
Yeah, he goes, not a CD or anything. And then he goes, "What's a CD?" Because they stream everything these days on their phones. They don't have CD players or fucking cassette players.
Yeah, last truck I bought had a CD player in the dash, and when the salesman was going over the features and benefits, he was like, "Yeah, and here's one of those old school CD players," and I'm like, "Motherfucker!"
Yeah, exactly right. I was like this. He goes, "What's a tape cassette?" And we put it on. It was fucked. It was going and doing all this stuff. And he goes, "Well, back in the day, that was a top. It was a top fucking top shelf. That's all you could get. So you record everything off the record and put it on a tape, and you can play it in the car because you had no record players in the car."
Right.
Yeah.
So
There you go. Added into advance. Next question, we got it here. Advice on life. Yeah, probably mate, I fucking got kicked out in English, so I don't spell that good. I always spell the way I fucking. Mum always says, just say it how it sounds. So it's probably spelt wrong. Yeah,
I
advice on
have
life.
made every mistake in life you can possibly make. So I would be the proverbial old man saying, "Don't do this," and the kid's going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
My advice to a 15-year-old of me
Yeah.
is be ethical, be moral. You're going to get in trouble, but when you get caught, just own it and pay your dues. And just know everything you do, there's going to be a price or there's actions for your actions. And just know when it's time to pay the piper, step up and be a man about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Do what you can do to make it right when you cross people, and when you make a mistake, own it, apologize, and move
Yeah.
forward, and it'll make you a better man in the long run.
No, that's it. And
There's
that's
very
why-
few people in my. There's a reason why I love dogs more than people. There's not very many people that walk a straight line anymore, Smitty.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. That's why I got that question in there. Is like a lot of people don't give advice, and like you say, they don't fucking listen anyway. But yeah, it's just my main one that I swore by is just treat people the way you want to be treated. Like, and if you can live along that sort of line and be truthful on that. And another one is if you want to do something, do it. If you're gonna have a crack at it, if you don't do it, you're not going to know. If
There
you
was
can.
nothing that was going to stop me from all the trouble I got to in life. Nothing over the top, but so you could preach to me till you're blue in the face. It seemed like the right idea at the right time.
Exactly.
But the hardest lesson for me to learn in my youth was being a man about it. And when you got caught in making things right, you know, or you know, whatever it was involved, if that makes sense.
Exactly right. You're correct. Dogs will show you the way, the real way. Exactly right. Most loyalist fucking animals in the world, I reckon. You know, dogs, pets. Next question, the final question, was just future plans for your channel this year, and what should we keep an eye out for?
My channel is a train wreck, Smitty. I just broke 4,000 subs, and I don't get that. I really don't. I do so much clowning around on my channel. I don't understand why people have gravitated to it. It's just I'm blown away by that.
Yeah.
What do I have planned? I'm not one of these people that plans out my videos 2 months in advance. I have a list of topics.
Yeah.
And I have like 30 on there that it's a rolling topics that I want to talk about. So when I go to shoot a video, I go down the list. I'm in the mood to do this one. Let's do something fun, light and jovial, or let's have a serious pep talk. I'm really annoyed by this. I need to have a small rant on it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And the reason why I don't want to can them and line them up and whatever, the real Eric doesn't come through. And if I'm passionate about it while I'm filming about it, then I think it comes through better if I film it while it's fresh in my mind, and then I produce it, put the spin on it with my editing that I want to get the message out to people. And my message is always the same. Help anybody you can in the moto community. And I'm trying to teach young riders into being old riders.
Yeah, exactly. Similar, same. Like I got me the live, I got ride videos, and because of 4-wheel drive and then fishing, and like I say, it just depends on what you're doing that weekend. Or and me pub reviews, because the COVID's all that over. I'm getting back into doing the pub reviews and all that again, because everyone loves going to a pub. I've been to 3 or 4 lately, but I've only filmed 2 when I went down to the meetup. But the pubs I've just been to, I want to ride there. Like most of me pubs at the moment, I've been just driving there because the weather's that shit. But now we're finally getting in the sunny weather. I can get the bike out and ride there because
if I make it out to Australia next year, I'm not going to be running around with a camera in everybody's face. There's not going to be a whole lot of content where I met Chewy or Roger or Smitty or something. I'm not that guy that runs around and shoving cameras in people's faces. I'm there for the fellowship and to meet friends. I've lived more than I'm going to live, and I want to spend the rest of my life building bridges with people. And that's more important to me than the silly content. There's nothing I can put on my channel that you guys haven't already done on your own channel. So that's my feeling. So that's my private time with people, if that makes sense.
Well, no, it does, because like when we go to meetups, you ask anyone, I'm always the one that's asking for some footage off other people, because I haven't filmed nothing. I've taken a few photos, this, that, and the other, but then I'm there to mingle, have a chat, and talk to people.
I take a lot of still shots, and then I will walk up to people and ask them, "Are you okay if I present you in an appropriate manner in a video?" And I always ask for blessings. I don't want somebody getting blindsided. Some people don't want to at that particular moment. Maybe you're catching them at a bad time. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
he on that. I don't know, I'm still yet to do my meetup video where everyone else has done theirs, and I got them all in the playlist on my channel so everyone can watch them all. But I'll get there. I just got to do another pub review video first, and then I'll get around to doing the meetup video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing is my channel is also what I didn't really answer your question. What's coming up for the next year? My channel is very much vet driven, and anybody's a vet. If I find out, I'll mail them from some free swag. Just it's not much, but it's just a small thank you, which is the least I can do. And half my life in my career field, I worked with finding vets jobs, so it's kind of near and dear to my heart. As far as the next, I need to get that message out more clearly because that's kind of not really clear on my channel. I don't really talk about it much. But as far as the content I plan on doing over the next year, it's wintertime here, Smitty. So there's going to be a lot of time filmed right here in my garage. And I'll talk about some fireside chats and stories that happened in my life. I'll do some slight wrenching and share. I'm also doing some interviews with my stepmom, who's 90 years old, who rode for 40 years. So I'll be posting those up. And I'll.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
I'm enjoying that
That's
one,
a tough broad, dude.
Yeah.
That lady busted my balls for 60 years. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, she seems a character. She's got some.
She's a card. She's a card. Yeah. So that's going to be it till the weather warms up. I'll sneak some rides in here and there when I can. I'm not sure. Quite frankly, motovlogs are where it's at. People get tired of them. You know.
Yeah.
So I tarp mine up with pictures or as I'm going down the road while I'm talking about whatever the point of topic is.
Yeah.
So I'm still morphing into how I want to do my content. I don't know if the talking head in my studio is appropriate. I don't know if a motovlog is appropriate. None of my videos get that many views. So it's not like my channel is some rage success. So I'm the last person anybody should ask.
Yeah, mine averages around 50 and all that. And I got 380 odd something subs. So like, not everyone's watching it. And not everyone can. Like ourselves, like we follow so many people, we can't watch all their videos. So you just see what you can fit in and what gets you interest.
I took a week off to go to California. I come back and I'm 100 videos behind, and I'm like, to hell with it. I can't catch up. It ain't happening.
Exactly right. You can't.
You know, I'm not. I feel like I got to punch a time card to keep up with everybody. You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're not going to come back and sit in the house for a week trying to catch up on videos. You pick ones that interest you, but you can't watch it all.
Well, I'm working really hard to keep my videos much, much shorter in the 5 to 8 minute range, and I'm doing my best to trim all the fat off and just get down to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, so, admittedly, all the same. Like mine always sort of stretch out to the lives are always big, but my videos sort of used to stretch out for half hour, 40 minutes, and only because you're driving it and full driving, but you're trying to keep it down to 10, 15 minutes now, even shorter. So. Yeah, I hear you. Like you just got to, like I said, trim the fat off it and have the good bits and do what you can. There's one more part of that question. What's the number one thing to do on your bucket list?
I have been lucky my whole life to have dual income, no kids as an adult my whole life. So I've not much I haven't been able to do on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running out of time as far as travel goes. I would like to, of course, go to Australia. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Finland and Iceland and Greenland and Ireland. There's so many places I want to see. So my bucket list is pretty much whittling down to travel.
Yeah.
However, after just traveling across the U.S. to California and back, our infrastructure is broken thanks to COVID and 911 and everything else. It is a disaster to travel these days here in the U.S.
Yeah. What's the fuel prices like over there? Like it's skyrocketing. It's like nearly $3 a litre for diesel.
A U.S. gallon of gasoline is about $3.50, $3.60 for 85 octane. Diesel is right at $5
Yeah.
US, which is probably, I don't know what,
gallon.
$6 Australia.
Yeah. Because and that's gallon too. Like ours is judged on liters, which is smaller. But yeah, ours is like it's $2.40, $2.50 for the diesel now, and it's going up again apparently. So it'd be nearly $3 a litre, and then fuel's probably only 20-30 cents cheaper than that. But diesel's the dearest over here at the moment, and it's hurting everyone. Like they're hitting diesel. So the trucks are delivering all the fruit and all the food to all the shops. So they're getting lumbered with that. And then food's going up because they've got to get the food to the supermarkets. And yeah, it's just a big shit fight at the moment with the whole COVID's just really thrown a spatter in the works for everyone. Yeah.
I don't understand why fuel is so much in the UK and Australia. I don't get that. I don't understand. You know, we're there. It's only coming from so many places. So, I mean, the government must be of these countries must be just taxing the crap out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly right. Well, this one here. Is anyone in the site yet? We've done the 13 questions. Thanks, Eric. And we'll throw it to the chat if anyone wants to.
Fire away if anybody has any questions.
All right. Have a crack and ask a question.
Do we still have anybody left in chat?
Yeah, we got 7 in there, which is pretty good. I think mainly they're all the Australians and all that in here now, though, and probably a few from overseas still.
So
no, everyone's pretty quiet. I think
okay.
Like I said, it's about what time is it here? It's 9:15. Everyone's getting out doing the yard work and doing their stuff for the weekend.
Well, I'm sorry you had to do it in the morning. You know, if we ever do this again, we'll do it at nighttime so you can have some beverages and we can spend a half hour on the first question.
He's like, I got a question here. How old were you when you had your first root?
My first root? Are you talking about boning a girl?
Yeah.
I was a late bloomer, so I was 18. Let's see. Dewey asked, what is the one bike you regret selling? My Confederate Hellcat. It was a handmade bike that was chopper-esque, kind of a boutique bike, and there's a long story behind that, but I regret selling it. It was basically a Sportster that weighed less than 400 pounds and about 135 horsepower. So,
yeah.
It was a rocket.
Yeah.
What's your favorite story thus far from your stepmom series? It's fascinating listening to her talk, and I get a real snapshot of days of yore with my dad, and my God, she's 90, so those stories are going to go away here soon. I'm not saying that to be mean, but you can only live so long. My favorite story from her is yet to come. It hasn't been published yet, so I have about 6 or more that I got to edit, and I will get posted. I do have a question, so I'm not going to answer that yet, Roger, because it hasn't been posted yet. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, so it's coming in future episodes.
This story goes back to Mexico, and I will give you one tip on it or tidbit of information. She hit a pothole that made, she was riding her Boxer BMW, and she hit a pothole that made both wheels square in the middle of Mexico.
Yeah, right.
And managed to keep it up. So that's probably my favorite story. So that one will be coming up in the near future.
That's like the main streets around here.
I do have a question for those of you that are watching that series. My GoPro overheated and the video froze on it. So on a couple of them, all I have is audio. Thanks, GoPro. I'm done with GoPro. I have switched over to DJI. I will never use GoPro again. I'm freaking done with it.
Yeah, I got a DJI Osmo Action. It's awesome.
So my question is, she's 2 hours away. That's 4 hours round trip with good traffic to go reshoot that video. It's more than an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Is it going to give people heartburn if I just post one up with a picture of Ann or show some picture slideshows or whatever and just have the audio in the background? They're all very short, maybe 7-8 minutes.
Mm.
But it's not like those videos are popping anyway. I'm lucky to get 150 views. It's not like people are loving them.
Yeah. But
So should I reshoot them or just roll with what I got is my question.
I'd honestly roll with what you got. Like you said, it's going to be an effort to get there and redo it and time. So that's what I'd do anyway. I'd do with what you got.
TV show that makes you laugh real hard, old or new. Saturday Night Live, old. When it first came out, it was on point. It was just cutting edge. Eddie Murphy, again, all those people that came from there, just iconic comedians. Hands down, made me laugh.
And the other one there, is it, what's your favorite cruiser motorcycle right now?
The Icon Revival. Being 6'4", that seat with that floating rear seat is 3 inches higher than any other Harley. So as a long-legged devil, for the first time, I feel like I have a custom bike made just for me. I actually fit on the damn thing rather than jamming myself on the bike.
Yeah.
Hands down, it's my favorite.
Just throw the picks up. Yeah, they're all saying just throw the picks up, and instead of redoing it all again, it's just going to be too much time and effort.
Welcome, Paul.
Yeah. That's about it. All righty, Eric. Thanks very much, mate. And we might call it now. It's we're going on hour and 20 minutes thereabouts. That's pretty good. That's normally the average time.
It was my pleasure. And if anybody else needs me to help you out in your channels in any way, shape, or form, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I'm in this for the long haul. So
that's it. Awesome.
All right.
Okay,
thank you, everybody. I bless you all for stopping by to hear me flap my gums. I'm honored. Thank you.
Exactly. Thanks very much, everyone, and have a good weekend, and chat to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.